Okay, we're going to do two backgrounds. We're going to use a sponge instead of a brush, and I'll show you why in a bit. Because this is a waterproof paper, acrylic will stick to it, but it will not give you a really nice background. See, if you paint it, you get all these stripes, and then you'll have to go over it like 4 or 5 times before you get rid of those stripes. So that's why we're using the sponge. As you can see, you get a lot more coverage. So if you ever have that problem, just get out your sponge and you can start covering your background. Now this is sort of I tried to replicate a sort of a patina color, sort of greenish color, because we're going to be putting gold on this later on. I'm going to build up this this background with a lot of gold and a lot of patina colors, but the first one I want on here is the greenish one. And then we're going to go slightly, we're going to go to bluish turquoisey color, and that really looks really pretty together. Let's put that away for a bit. Yes, I am painting in my bathrobe, as usual. I always paint in my bathrobe. I think I have about 8 or 9 by now. Then I, forget to change, and then I have a new one. Oh boy. Can't help it. Goes with the trade. So this one is nicely covered. That's number 1. Now, as you can see, it's really nice. It has these little specks in them, which I really like, because that's going to grab onto the paint. I'm going to build it up with a palette knife, and then if you have these little specks in your paint, that's going to grab onto it, and it's going to create really cool effects. I hope. So we're going to cover this one too. And I might just speed this up a little bit, because otherwise I'll bore you all to death. And maybe not. Maybe just you guys like me rambling. So I'm going to do this one a little bit more of the spiky stuff. That's why I'm loading up the sponge just a little bit more. So the more you have on your sponge, the more these little peaks will start to, see that? These little peaks will form. And I'm really curious as to what's going to happen when it's dry, and I'm going to go over it with a palette knife and see what kind of effect it's going to give us. So I'm loading up the sponge. And as soon as I see the little peaks disappear, that's the sign that you need a little bit more paint. Now, just like it is, I really like it. It's really different. Oops. Still got the peaky stuff going on. Now, I think I'll just overdo it a little bit. Here. And there. Now I'll show it to you one more time. As you can see here, a lot of those peaky things going on, and I kind of like that. So we'll let this dry, and I'll come back with the palette knife. Okay, we're back. Now this is pretty much dry, and I want to give it a sort of a weathered look. So what I'll do is just put a little bit of paint on a palette knife and just start to bring on some of this paint. Now I have 2 or 3 types of gold. One is a little bit thinner, the one is a little bit thicker, and one is a bit darker, one is a bit lighter, and this is what we're going to try and layer up. This is the same as the background, so we have to be careful that we don't do that one too much first. We need another color. Now I'm hoping that you can see what I'm doing colors on the background. So you're just touching it with a little bit of paint and then just really smoothing it out. That's what we're doing. Sometimes a little bit bigger, sometimes a little bit smaller, and that's because we're going to go over this many times for as long as we go, and we're not satisfied, we just go on and on and on. So a little bit more of that. Already putting a little bit over the bluish color. That's about it for the first one. Now we're going to let this dry again, because right now this is not nearly, you know, what we're going for, but you can see the blue, the greenish, the gold color. So it's starting to build up, and this is what we're going to do. At least 6 layers, I guess, because you want to bring it on, bring it up, and maybe wipe some off. We'll take a piece of steel wool and we'll make it distressed looking, and we're just going to build this up a little bit and see where it leads us. So be back in a sec. Okay, we're ready for the next layer, and I'm going to start adding a little bit of a darker tint. This is a really dark aqua, so we'll just put it on here with the long strokes like that. And these are going to be the background. I'm going to use this for the collages, what I was talking about. As you can see, I'm rubbing it right in with another color, just a little bit up here. And I'm not scooping it up, the paint, with the palette knife. What I'm doing is just placing a little bit of paint on the palette knife, and then, you know, just going over parts, even the gold, because you don't want these whole bits of gold. You just want to see that there's little bits coming through. So we're going to come back in with the gold. And it's really all about just, you know, having patience and keep going until you get something that you really like. But you could do this, I don't know, you could do this for a really long time. I do need it to be a little bit more gold. And this one is really transparent. That's why I change it from one brand to the other. This one is a little bit more opaque and a little darker, which I like. Then we have another one, which we're going to put on and see what that gives. Yeah, it's even another color. That's kind of cool. Okay, we'll let that dry again. and we'll be right back. Okay, next layer, we're going to be, because we've painted the background with the sponge, what I'm going to do is bring a little depth into it. As you can see, don't want that though. I'm just tapping my palette knife in the paint and then just tapping it on like this, and it gives a really nice effect because of the little peaks that are in the paint on the paper. So that's what we're doing, and we're going over the gold, of course, because we want it to have a sort of rustic look. So I need a little bit more of that dark stuff because I don't think that's enough. Let's see. That's nice. Okay. One time over the whole thing. Now it's starting to really build up, as you can see. And now I'd like a little bit more of that green. So we're putting a little bit of that green stuff on again. And I'll put some on my table in front of me so I can dip it in. And we're going to do that again, like that. And now it's just like that gold is sort of, you know, getting that oxidized look. And I really think we're almost there. Oops, that's a little bit too much. And we're going to finish it off. The last bit is going to be gold again. So I'm going to get the one I like the most because it's a finishing layer. Let's put some on the table. And I'm going to be cleaning off the palette knife a little bit. And then we're going to put the gold on, and then we're going to just tap it here and there, just to give it a little bit more gold, because that's what we're going for. And remember, you can always do another one. If you're not really happy with it once it's dry, you can just go on and on. It's just no problem whatsoever. You'll just be building it up more and more and giving it even more depth. So don't worry about if you don't like it, just keep working with it. And I think that is something that we all sometimes not do, is that when we don't like something, we just stop and throw it out. But what you really can do is just work with it a little bit longer, and the most beautiful things happen. That's when some people, you know, they do the pores and then they don't like it and they go over them with the Posca pens. That gives us really interesting looks. Some are really awesome. Okay, I think I do need a little bit more of the dark because I'm missing the little bit of that dark. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Let's see. That looks pretty weathered, distressed. I like it. I think I can live with this one. Okay, I'll take you down and I'll give you a view from another angle. Maybe you'll see it a little bit better. There it is. I'm really happy with it. Okay, that was it, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.